to our webinar, Plant-Based Proteins in Culinary Products, the Peps Bowl show, the Peps Balls cooking show. And thank you to being here today. My name is Véronique Merle. I'm a category manager on bakery and culinary, and I will animate this webinar. I will present you lean ingredients and consumer trends. My colleague Domiti Bart was not present. Was to present the part Discover Her Peps Balls. Unfortunately, she cannot be here today. So she will be replaced by my colleague Florence Fossadier, Bakery, Culinary and Nutrition R&D Manager, and we thank her. We will find Domiti Bart in the video during her Peps Balls cooking show. And finally, we will close this webinar with QA session. Some reminders before to start. All attendees are on mute, but if you have any question, please ask them on right part of screen on the question tab. We will answer at the end of the webinar. If we don't have time to answer them, or if we don't get the answer right away, we will come back to you personally later. And the presentation will be sent to you after the webinar, and you can watch in replay on YouTube. Limagrain Ingredients is a subsidiary of Limagrain, which is an agricultural cooperative and an international seed group owned by nearly 1,500 farmers located in Limagne-Val d'Allier in the center of France. Limagrain is a number 4 seed company worldwide, present in 57 countries and with more than 9,000 employees. The group breeds, produces, and distributes field seeds, vegetable seeds, and agri-food products. Limagrain Ingredients create with its grain and cereals natural and safe ingredients with unique functionalities that assist manufacturers in improving the texture, mouthfeel, and nutrition of their products. Committed for almost 30 years to the clean label approach, we develop and offer a wide range of ingredients, flours and grits, functional flours, masa flours, pellets for snacks, bread improvers, puffed and toasted grains. The ingredients are used across the food and feed industries in industrial bakeries, breakfast cereal and snack manufacturers, convenience food, and in pet food and animal feed, young animals and horses. Limagrain Ingredients achieve sales of over 158 million euros, 55% of which are international, and transform over 330,000 tons of cereals every year. The company has more than 350 employees spread over 7 production sites in Europe. Let's move on to consumer trends in Europe. The main trends are health, wellness, ethic and animal welfare, plant-based proteins, environment and sustainable development, and transparency, that is the clean label. The COVID pandemic has had an impact on consumers who are now attracted to and looking for food that is both good for their health and good for the planet. They will look for natural products with a short list of reassuring ingredients. That is clean label trend. The consumer is moving more towards plant-based protein, as we shall see later. There is also the notion of pleasure, of seeking out innovative sensory experiences, and this is achieved by mixing textures, colors, and/or flavors. There is the impact of climate change, where we're looking for to consume in a more responsible way. We choose foods and our diet thoughtfully to help reduce our carbon footprint. This change in diet leads to a decreases in the consumption of animal products. We see that flexitarianism is on the rise. One if in our consumers worldwide now consider themselves flexitarian. In Europe, the percentage of flexitarians is dominant compared to vegetarian and vegan diets. There is therefore an increase in the consumption of meat substitutes. There is a wider consumer audience and therefore an increase of the diversity of meat substitutes offered to meet consumer expectation and needs. This can be seen in the graph on the left, where we have the meat substitute launches by format type, such as burger, block, cubed, sausage, etc. To substitute meat, plant-based protein are used. In the graph on the right, we can see the top 10 of plant-based protein used in meat substitutes. Wheat flour and soya are the most commonly used. There is also pea and soy protein. Among plant-based protein, there are the pulses. On the graph, we have the top 10 of pulses used in meat substitutes. Pea is in the lead. Pulses have many nutritional benefits. They are good for your health because they are rich in fibers, complex carbohydrates, protein, minerals, iron, and have the advantage of being low in fat, gluten-free, and have a low glycemic index. Sorry. Environmental benefits. Pulses are good for environment because sorry because they fix nitrogen from the air for their own growth and then return it to the soil for the next crop, thus limiting the use of nitrogen fertilizer. I will end by presenting some meat substitute products launches in Europe in the last year. As we can see, we have meat balls, Veggie Burger, crispy bacon strips, vegetal cordon bleu, some plant-based blood sausage, tasty plant-based minced beef, and vegetable patties. These launches have a positioning claim like as a plant-based protein, rich in protein and source of fiber, GMO-free, and free from artificial coloring or additive and preservatives. Now I will let Florence present you the Peps Balls.
Hello. I'm going to introduce you our new range of ingredients that you can use to increase the level of proteins in your recipe, the Peps Bowl. So the Peps Bowl are small pulses balls that can be used in different applications. And today, we are going to present you their application in savory application. Other recipes in bakery or pastry products are also available on request. So the Peps Bowl are based only 100% on pulses with chickpea, faba bean, pea, and red beans. And the Peps Bowl are produced by extrusion process. So it's a clean label product. And the declaration will be chickpea flour for the first one, pea proteins and faba bean concentrate for the second one, and red bean flour and pea protein for the third one. As you can see, the protein content is between 23 and 65%. And the level of protein is interesting also for the chickpea Peps Bowl and red bean and pea Peps Bowl, since we have a level of fibers more than 12%. As you can see, we have 3 different colors, 3 different tastes, and 3 different density to give 3 different mouthfeel. And thanks to the process, we also decrease the bitterness of the Peps Bowl. So it's a way to introduce pulses without the pulses of nuts. The Peps Bowl can be used in vegan recipe. So we will now discover the Peps Bowl in 2 recipes that has been developed by our application manager, Domiti Bar. The first recipe is for cereal patties. So this recipe combines the use of cereals and pulses. Cereal and pulses are complementary. Indeed, cereals are low in lysine and rich in methionine. And for the pulses, it's the opposite. They are rich in lysine and low in methionine. So it's very interesting for the nutrition to associate pulses and cereals. With the Peps Bowl addition, we also increase the level of protein and the level of fiber content. The recipe 2, we have the maximum fiber with the Peps Bowl red bean and pea. And in the recipe 3, we have the maximum of protein with the Peps Bowl pea and faba bean. All these recipes are in Nutri-Score B, source of protein and source of fiber. This recipe is very tasty and with a very well-balanced taste, thanks to the Peps Bowl and the toasted buckwheat. So I will also, you see also the Peps Bowl used in Peps Burger. So in this recipe, we have a partial replacement of the texturized pea protein to provide more sweetness. And thanks to the color of the Peps Bowl, between brown and pink, it's a very interesting color also for the burgers. The Peps Bowl are very easy to use and you have no modification of the process. The 2 recipes are rich in protein and source of fibers with a Nutri-Score A. In comparison with some granulated texturized protein, the Peps Bowl can also bring an economic interest. In this recipe, the innocence wheat TM40 is used to create to bind the different ingredients and facilitate the shaping step. So I let you now with Domiti to discover this recipe in video.
With the rise of flexitarian, vegetarian and vegan diets, the meat substitute market is growing, but it can be difficult to stand out with tasty products with the perfect texture you want. Today, we are gonna prepare a veggie burger recipe with pulses without compromising on taste or texture by incorporating our Peps Bowl ingredients.
For 600 grams of preparation, we need texturized vegetable proteins. We can use 2 types of TVP, chunks and granulated. In our recipe, we kept the chunks, which are larger in size and allow a good water absorbing capacity. But here we have replaced the granules with our Peps Bowl red bean and pea. They will add pulses without altering the taste and the texture of the burger, as would be the case, for example, with the pea proteins or pulse flour addition. Moreover, the bowl shape is way better for the texture as it will bring more bite to the meat substitute. Then we add water, onions, oil and egg white powder. For a better binding capacity, we add a granulated wheat functional flour, our innocent sweet TM40. This flour will facilitate the shaping of the meat substitute by preventing the mixture from sticking, and will also improve the yield during the cooking with water and fat retention. For the taste and the color, we add malt extract, salt and aromatics like pepper, parsley and garlic. Now that you have the recipe, we can begin the preparation. Here we use a Thermomix to mix all the ingredients we have weighed beforehand until we obtain an homogeneous texture. We need 3 mixing steps to bind all the ingredients together. Just a point of attention, for a chewy texture it is important not to wring too much and to keep some small pieces. To allow the Peps Bowl and TVP to absorb water, we only need a short hydration time. Let's put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now that all the water has been absorbed, we can proceed to the shaping step. We use a hamburger press. Our oval burger weighed 100 grams and the round burgers weighed 110 grams. Then comes the pre-cooking step. We schedule 12 minutes at 150 degrees in a steam oven. The final step is the grill. And that's it, our meat substitute is ready. We can now prepare our burger dish. On your left, the meat substitute was made with a mixture of pea protein and white bean flour to add more pulses. However, there were difficulties during the shipping step and the final texture is too dry, firmer and less melting in the mouth. We can also feel a bitter aftertaste. On your right, here's the meat substitute we've just made together with our Peps Balls white bean and pea. In addition to an easier shaping, the final texture is better, more melting, juicy and chewy, with a much more natural and pleasant taste in mouth. This recipe allows the addition of pulses, so more protein, but with no compromise on the organoleptic attributes.
Now it's time to taste your veggie burger. Enjoy your meal!
The recipe presented to you can be made on an industrial tool like cutter. The product has good processability and no stickiness. Before moving on QA session, we would like your feedback on this webinar. For this, you will find at the bottom right of your screen in pool tabs 2 questions. Please answer both questions and submit vote. If you have any questions, need samples, who want to taste our recipes, our teams are here to help you. Do not hesitate to contact us at the address below, or please contact your Limburger Ingredients sales contact. And now it's time for the QA session. My colleague Pierre will lead it, thanks to him.
Thank you, Veronique. Hi, everyone. So this is a Q&A session. As we said at the beginning of the presentation, we have a question tab right next to your chat icon at the bottom right of your screen. So if you have any questions now after the presentation you saw, don't hesitate to ask it here, and we will answer it live if we can, or we will get back to you right after the webinar. In the meantime, let me share some of the questions that were sent to us before the presentation. And I'm sure our experts, Véronique and Florence, will be able to answer some of them. So first question, what is the shelf life of the Peps Balls?
So the shelf life of the Peps Bowl is between 9 and 12 months. It depends on the reference. And it's 9 months for the chickpea because the chickpea has naturally more fat than red bean or faba bean. And for the red bean and pea and faba bean, the shelf life is 12 months.
Right. Next question. Do the Peps Balls need a soaking step?
No, it's very easy to use the Peps Bowl, and you don't need the soaking step, and you can use the Peps Bowl with your usual process.
Okay. Someone asked, do you have lentil-based Peps Balls?
Today, no. But if there is volume, we can also work to develop a new recipe.
All right. Moving on. A question about packaging. So what is the packing method for the Peps Balls?
Today, the Peps Bowl are packed in carton between 10 and 16 kilogram with pallet of between 400 and 640 kilograms. We have some difference in the packing because you have seen on the presentation that the 3 Peps Bowl have not the same density.
Okay, that makes sense. What method of reheating do you advise on the cereal patties?
So for the cereal patties, they can be reheated by oven or in a pan. And I didn't mention it during the webinar, but this recipe can be is suitable for the fresh product or for frozen product.
All right, and the last question we got before the webinar, and I think it's more of a validation, but can the Peps Balls be used in vegan recipes?
Yes, the Peps Bowl are suitable for a vegan recipe. They are based only on pulses.
Right. Thank you. So we come to the end of the questions. I'm checking the chat and the question tab. I don't see any more questions. Again, please don't hesitate to raise any question you would have right now. And if not now, then you can write to us at the email addresses that were shown in the presentation. This one exactly. We'll be happy to answer any kind of question right after it. So if there are no more questions, thank you everyone for being here today and for attending our presentation. Thanks to Véronique and Florence for doing it. And have a great day. You will receive the presentation by a separate email and as well as the YouTube replay link. So thanks again, and see you on our next webinars.